So at this point, we've assumed that you've done the other tutorial on our website and done the compilation of mcrypt. So we need to make a slight change before we begin here. One of the things that's going to happen is that by default macOS 10 does not have, or actually they do have, but it's disabled, is the php.ini file in the etc directory. They do have one, but we need to copy it so that the PHP engine sees it. So what I'll do here is I'll elevate my privileges in the command line called sudo, and then we're going to copy the file, which is located under etc php.ini.default, and we'll just simply rename it to PHP, and I'll just remove the default. So that's fine. And if you follow the directions for the encrypt, we need to make a slight change to the end of that file by adding the mcrypt extension. So I will do that by doing sudo pico/etc phpini. And using my text editor, I'll use Control V to scroll all the way down to the end of the file. Takes a few moments here because my window is a little bit smaller. And we're almost there. You could also do this through a text editor, but I like using the command line because I don't have to generally deal with permissions quite so much. Okay, so we're at the end of the file. I'm just going to press enter once, and I'm going to paste in what was required. It's extension equals mcrypt.so. So to save the file out, I'll just press Control O to exit and press enter, and Control X to exit. In order to get past this roadblock, I need to restart the Apache server. You can do that through system preferences and sharing and clicking and stopping the built-in web server. There is a shortcut on the command line, and it's called Apache CTL or Apache Control. To do that, just type in sudo Apache CTL restart, and that will restart Apache. At this point, I should be able to click continue and get past our little roadblock. So now we're at the point where Magento wants to ask us about the details of our database connection. We'll leave it at localhost because our database is running on this computer. We know our database from earlier we created is just called Magento. We'll leave the root account root, password is blank, and table prefix is blank. In a production environment, you will want to change the username and the password, obviously, so to protect your site from hackers. Under web access options, we'll leave everything alone. The base URL stays the same. The administrator stays the same. I do suggest you use the skip base URL validation before the next step. This prevents Magento from verifying things like usernames, or I should say domains. And then the session data can be saved in the file system or your database. I'll leave it at file system for now, and I will hit continue. Okay, we have another error message. It says SQL state 2002, no such file or directory, database connection error. Now, I know what the error message is here, and it's related to the fact that PHP is trying to communicate to the MySQL database in the back end through a temporary socket. And you'll see here that it's actually telling us that it expects the socket to be located based on the PHP ini file, which is declared at var run mysqld mysqld sock. Well, that's not correct. It should be /temp/mysql.sock. So we'll make that slight change. What we'll do is we'll use our terminal application again, and we will edit the PHP ini file one more time. So sudo pico/php ini, and I'll do Control W to look for the word socket. Okay, and here it is. Here's the line that we need to edit. It says pdo_mysql.default_socket is equal to var mysql socket. We need to change this, so we'll just comment out the line, and we'll copy this line and paste in the new one, but we'll just change where it's actually located. We're just going to go /temp /mysql sock. We'll hit Control O to save, Control X to exit, and then we'll have to restart Apache one more time, so I'll just bring up the last command by pressing the up arrow key twice. And now we can go back here and attempt to do it again. We'll leave everything the way it was. We're not changing anything. At this point, we'll just hit continue. Now the URL, I don't know if you've noticed here, but it's changed to install.db/. I'll tell you right now that our changes that we just made are working. The installation of the database schema for Magento can take a few minutes. So right now it looks like it's actually hung, but be patient, let it finish. And once it's done, we can come back. And at that point, it should ask us to create the administrator account and password. And at that point, our Magento installation will be mostly finished. All right, so our database schema has been finished, and Magento's presented us with the Create Admin Account page. At this point, you can just put in your information. Pick a username that makes sense, and some kind of good, secure password. The last one here is encryption key. You have an opportunity here of typing in whatever encryption key that you want, combination of letters, characters, numbers. If you leave it empty, the system will create an encryption for you and display it on the next page. So I'm going to click continue. And here we go. We have a little bit of a problem. Our password that we picked is too weak. This is very important that you pick a very good password that has a combination of letters and numbers. Magento won't let you pass this until you put in a good password. Okay, so now we're all set. Our installation is now finished, and Magento's also given us a encryption key. You should copy and paste this, put it somewhere safe. This encryption key is used internally to encrypt and decrypt passwords and credit card information. At this point, we have the opportunity of clicking on Go to Front End or Go to Back End. So I'll go ahead and do that on both. And on the front end, you will see here that we have a default Magento installation, current version of 1.401 on a stock Snow Leopard without any extra software installed or anything other than the encrypt extension to PHP. We're using the built-in PHP. We're using the built-in Apache installation as part of macOS 10 Snow Leopard. Administrator page, we'll log in. And there we are. It's installed and ready to go. At this point, it would be wise for you to complete a backup of your installation, a backup of your files, and start putting in some products and so on and so forth. So that's it. That's what it takes to install Magento 1.4 on a stock OS X installation without any extra software other than open source and adding a small component to PHP to make it work. I have some other videos on YouTube to show you how to set up taxes specifically for Canadian environments, which is very important, as well as some other tips and tricks that you can use to make your Magento installation successful.